discussion.
All right, so hi, how you guys doing today?
We're doing good, and
Good. How are
yourself?
you?
Doing great, doing great. How did we meet today?
We were
Jamba
just
Juice.
leaving the gym and
Yeah.
we met at Jamba Juice.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I approached you ladies like in the middle while we are at Jamba Juice. What did I approach you about? What did we talk about?
Women's mental health.
Women's mental health, that was one of them. Hey, two other topics.
I'm not sure if I heard correctly, but I heard feet.
That was part of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Feet.
So reflexology too. So now let me ask you this: have you heard of reflexology before?
No,
No,
we're
you
not
never
familiar.
heard. So reflexology actually has to do with like your hands, your feet, things like that. So basically, it's like we'll get into it. I don't want to give you too much information now. I just kind of like the fact that you don't know. We'll talk about it as we go along. Let me ask you this: when you hear the word feet, first thing goes to your mind. What do you think about first? Be honest.
Foot fetish.
Foot fetish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing. Okay, cool. We're gonna ask you some questions today. It'll be your thoughts, how you feel about feet. Just feel free to answer however you like. What about mental health? You hear that? What do you think about it? First thing
I
goes
feel
to
like
you.
that's a very important topic to me,
Sensitive,
especially now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we're gonna talk a little bit about dealing with stress, anxiety, depression, like some things that maybe you guys do that helps you out. I'll talk to you a little bit about what I've learned since I started my channel, and then we'll just have a little discussion about that, okay? And then reflexology, you said you don't know what it is, but I bet you do. You probably just don't recognize the
The
term.
word, yeah.
Okay. So I'll tell you what it is, and then we'll just see how you feel about it, okay? So let me ask you this before we get started. Do you feel like the subjects that I gave you connect in any kind of way?
Yeah.
They
In a way,
subject-
yes.
You feel like they connect. Okay, cool. So let's get started. Let's start with the first question. And what we'll do is we're gonna alternate who's gonna answer which question. Okay. So
Okay.
who wants to answer first? First
Her.
question. You're gonna
I'm
answer
Did you
first.
say her?
I'm nervous.
So let me ask you this: in terms of the world, what is something we could do to improve mental health awareness throughout the world?
Something that has worked for me and my journey would have to be choosing myself, giving myself the proper time to get myself together. One thing that has helped me is going to the gym. As I mean, you come and leaving the
Yep.
gym and now on Jamba Juice.
Yep.
That's one thing that's very important to me because I believe that giving yourself, it is very important to give yourself the time of day. One thing I heard is like you give like 8 hours to your job, you have to at least give yourself like at least 1 or 2 hours.
I mean, it's helpful, right? Like if you do that. So I think a lot of times we forget about that, like those little things, and those are the things that like impact us the most. So like absolutely. Let's go with the next question. So I want you to fill in the blank on this question. Okay.
Okay.
The world would be better if.
I feel like if we're more kind to each other, I feel like we live in a world where people are so judgmental and rude. Like
Yeah.
we don't never know like exactly mental. We don't know what people are going through.
Yo, and I think a lot of times what I hear on my channel, so I interviewed a few ladies, I think it was a couple weeks ago. It was 3 ladies, and they were talking about the fact that sometimes they're being judgmental to others and don't realize it. Like,
Yeah.
it may be something that somebody does something or something like that, and then you're immediately like, oh, I would never do that. And it's
Yeah.
like, well, just because you wouldn't do it doesn't mean that somebody else shouldn't. As long as it's not something that's hurting anybody, it's not
Yeah.
harming anybody, what's the harm, right? Absolutely. Next question, okay? So we're going back here. If a friend or loved one was like struggling with like anxiety, depression, anything like that, is there anything you would say or do with them to like maybe help them get through that time?
I'm not very a confrontational person, but what it is that I do for my friends, I tend to check up on them a lot,
Yeah.
and not in a sense of like how are you doing, constantly reminding them of their stress. But what
Yeah.
I do is I'll be like, hey, let's go get so and so, and then I give them their time to speak up to me, but I make sure I do my part, as in taking time out of my day to give to them so they don't stay in that mental space.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's something that I know has helped them, and they verbally told me themselves that, not at the moment, but then later on they told me, like, oh, like, you helped me when you did this and this. But yeah, taking time out of my day to give to them.
Yeah, because I think the roughest part with that, right, what you're mentioning, a lot of times when you're dealing with that, you feel like you're alone. Nobody's there. And it's like, I'm dealing with this alone, so just to have somebody be there to, like, just listen
Yeah.
sometimes, right?
Yeah.
I guess the reason I know that is because a lot of times when I'm stressed, I tend to isolate myself, and in hopes of like someone reaching out to me and like giving me their time, and because I feel that, I know like that's what they
You know
need.
to do that.
Yeah.
Automatically. Absolutely. That's a good one. Another lady who I interviewed, she said to me one of the things that she does with her friends. This was actually a really cool thing. She said, sometimes like when you're dealing with that, you don't want to talk. You don't want to tell people what it is that you're dealing with, right?
Yeah.
So she said one of the things that her and her friends do, they have like it's almost like a signal to each other, like I'm dealing with something, I have a bad day. So what they do is they text each other an emoji that's in like their group chat, and it's just literally like, this means like, I'm not doing well, I'm struggling. So then everybody knows like, okay, let's go be with that person, let's just hang out.
That's cool.
So it's like that way you don't even have to talk, you don't have to verbalize it.
You just
do that.
know something.
Exactly. All right, so next question. In terms of anxiety, you don't have to go too in depth. You can give us a surface level answer if you like. Is there anything that brings you anxiety? And if so, like when you feel like you're having an anxious moment,
Yeah.
do you do anything to like counteract how you're feeling, to like cope with what you're feeling in that moment?
I feel like for me is the gym as well.
Okay.
I'm really nervous. I'm shy.
Oh,
Like
okay.
right now, I feel like
Yeah,
I
she's
wanted to
anxious
run
right
away.
now.
That's why I'm like,
She told me, oh, should we run?
yeah,
wow.
like I'm
She's very anxious.
yeah,
Okay.
I don't like stuff like this. So it's like out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
But for me, I feel like it is like the gym.
Okay.
It helps a lot for me.
Is it because there's a lot of people there?
No,
Is that
like
it?
to me, it helps me like
Okay.
feel better.
That helps you with
Actually,
it. Okay, I see. So
Yeah.
that's what you do when you're feeling anxious.
yeah, like I would
Go
make
to the
time
gym.
for myself.
That's
Yeah.
dope. That's dope. One of the things that somebody told me, so because when it comes to crowds, like I'm a little anxious when it comes to that. So the therapist told me that one of the things that you can do is like it's called grounding. So like when you're in the moment, you feel like you're having an anxious moment. What you do is you start to focus on like what you see, what you smell, what you hear, like all those things, and like as you're starting to like go through like each one of those things, it starts to bring your anxiety down because now you're not focused on what the problem is. You're more focused on something else, like a
Yeah.
distraction in
Okay.
a way. Absolutely. In terms of next question, let's say somebody came to you and they gave you the power to change something about yourself. Like it doesn't have to be something physical. Maybe it's a behavior you have. Is there anything you would change?
Probably the way I tend to hold on to things.
Okay.
I think resentment.
Oh, okay.
I feel like resentment is
That's a
something
big
that's
one.
very. I feel like a lot of people don't talk about it a lot.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
tend they live in a world, especially now, where they say, oh, they let people slide with a lot of things, and they make it seem like it's peace and everything, but they don't talk about the grudge that you hold behind things and
Yep.
how to let it go, and
So that's,
Yeah.
that's something you've been working on. Like
yeah, that's
trying
something
to
that
get
I've been
better
working on.
That's
It's
good.
really hard to let go of, like, if somebody hurt me or somebody
Yeah.
did something to me, like I can no longer look at that person the same. I just look at what they did to me.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
You know, one of the things that I think could be helpful for you in that, because like I used to be the same way. Like I would like, I could go for a long time at somebody, right?
Yeah.
And so the therapist told me like, think about it like this: if it doesn't impact you 5 years from now,
Oh, I've heard of
why
that
worry about
before.
that? So it's like a 5-year rule. So you ask yourself like, this is what I'm dealing with right now. Is this something that's gonna impact me 5 years from now? Because like, if you're not gonna even be with that person no more, like you're like moving on, like let it go. So that might be something that can help you out in that situation, like just thinking like that. Absolutely. Next question. Okay, so we're gonna actually start questions now where it's like both of you guys can answer these questions.
Okay.
Okay, so fill in the blank on this question. When I think about my feet, I feel. What do you feel? Think about your own feet.
Grounded.
Grounded.
Like I feel that I don't know how to explain it. Sorry, I'm a little
You
nervous.
feel like energy, like
Yeah, like like I'm on my feet. Like I know this sounds funny, but
Yeah.
like I'm capable. Like I run this.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like
that's
that.
good. That's good. I
It's
like
hard
that.
to explain, but
No.
yeah.
You explained it good. Like you feel like that you're like, okay, I got energy. I feel like I'm good. I can go.
Like
can
I'm
do it.
able to do
Capable.
stuff. Yeah, capable,
That's
kind of
great.
like that.
That's great. What about for you?
Honestly, I didn't think about it like that. I
Okay.
just thought foot fetish, and that's it. I just thought, not that I have a foot fetish, but it just.
No, but I mean, when we're talking about how you feel about your own feet, like what is like when you think about your feet, how do you feel about your own?
I don't know. I have like a weird thing with feet. I don't really like feet. That's
Do you
all.
have a phobia?
No, I just have had guys that say they want to see my feet, and I just think that's weird.
Okay.
I feel like it makes girls scared.
It makes when someone brings a fee, I just think foot fetish.
Okay, so let me ask you this: in terms of your feet, have you ever received compliments before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you got a compliment about that, how did it make you feel in the moment? Like somebody's complimenting you about something about yourself, how did you feel?
Good, I
Good.
guess.
Okay, so you didn't feel good about it. So you felt good about it, but you feel weird about people who like feet. Why is that?
Just because it's like a strange thing to like.
Okay.
Like it's like saying, "Oh, I like your ear," and then just like it's just my ear.
There are people like
Yeah.
that. I've interviewed women who are like they like earlobes, and like some
Yeah.
some women like teeth. I interviewed one girl say she looks at a guy's shoes. Like,
Oh.
and she like, I look at his shoes. Like if his shoes are not good, then like I won't date him. And it's like, so it's like everybody has their thing, right?
Yeah.
So this goes back to what we were talking about earlier, judging, right?
Yeah.
Being judgmental. Because like if it's something that you like, let's say you have something you like, and people are like, well, damn, that's kind of weird, right? Everybody has something like that. But let me ask you this: like, if it's not something that's hurting anybody, what is the real issue?
I think it's more of my comfort.
It's your comfort.
Yeah, it's I will respect what other people like, but it's if it makes me feel uncomfortable, then I'm not gonna.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I see what you're
Yeah.
saying. So let me ask you this: when you've received compliments, like let's say if it's about your hair, your eyes, your hands, would you accept those compliments more than a compliment about your feet?
I guess
or-
it depends on how people say it, because
Okay.
sometimes people they compliment you, but not in a way where it's flattering. It's
So the
more,
context.
Yeah.
The context in which they're saying it. Okay. So have you gotten compliments where it's like the context was way out of bounds and you're just
Yeah,
like,
it's just like,
oh,
what-
okay.
yeah.
You're like, what the hell
like,
is
what the
going
hell?
on?
Yeah.
No, I get it. And I've interviewed quite a few women who have felt like that. But like if the context is good and if the energy is good, you would feel a little bit different then.
Yeah.
Because I think it's like that with everything. Because if somebody came up to you and
That's
said,
the approach.
yeah, you feel me? Like somebody came up to you and said something about your hair, and they said it in like a way where it's like, wow, that doesn't sound good. You're still gonna feel the same way no matter. So it's not might not necessarily be the compliment or what somebody's saying about you. Maybe it's more how they're saying it to
And
you.
their mannerism.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. In terms of compliments you receive from men and women, right? Do you prefer to receive compliments from one group over the other?
I believe women, just
More women.
because
Okay.
it's empowerment. If you don't receive compliment from a woman, it's kind of like, why not? You know?
And we support each other.
Yeah, we're supposed to support each other.
Okay.
And then men, I guess it's nice,
Yeah.
but it's like I said, it depends on the approach.
Okay.
Because some men don't know how to talk to women.
Very much so.
So.
So
Yeah.
do you? Because I think this too, right? Because when you're, what you just said, like makes a lot of sense, right? If a guy comes up to you and like he's expecting something in return for complimenting you, right? That's what makes you feel like, oh well, shit. Like why you say anything to me at all? Where women, a lot of times will just compliment you just because they just want to say something nice to you, right? They just want to make each other feel good. Do you ladies give compliments to other women? Like you go out and
Yeah.
that's
If
great.
I see something I like,
Yeah,
oh,
we
it's your
say all the
outfit,
time.
Your outfit
your
or-
hair,
yeah, yeah.
anything, I'll go out of my way. Sometimes even at the gym, I'll walk up to them and be like, oh, dude, you have like a really nice body.
That's
Like just
dope.
to let them know that their work is
Oh, yeah.
showing.
That's dope, man.
Yeah.
That's dope. That's great. In terms of compliments you received throughout your life, right? If you could think back on some of the compliments you received, was there a certain compliment that when you got that compliment from somebody, you're like, man, that made my day. It made me feel good. Anything like that for you guys?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Because for me, it's energy. When somebody talks about my energy and you're like, I really love your energy. Your energy is really good, positive.
That
makes
means
me
more
feel
than
good.
anything.
Yeah, because it's like a lot of times I don't feel like that. Sometimes I can feel tired or whatever.
Yeah.
And somebody says that to me and I'm like, huh? Like, oh, okay, cool. That's dope. So what about for you ladies?
Something that I get a lot is my heart. Like I know it
Oh,
sounds corny, but
yeah.
a lot of people say like, "Oh, you have a really
You
big
have a good
heart.
heart?
I have a really good heart," and
too nice. Maybe,
yeah, I guess it's
sometimes.
nice. Sometimes it's like looked at in a bad way
I see what you're
for
saying.
how it is, but I
Yeah.
feel like to me, it's a good thing. Yeah.
I think don't stop being yourself because if you do, it'll impact the people who you meet. Like you might meet people who like accept that and like will even like reciprocate that same type of love you're giving them. But if you change, you'll
I
never
won't receive it.
You
That's
won't
why
get
I
that
won't,
exactly.
yeah.
So I think just be who you are. Those other people who are like bad will literally get filtered out of your life slowly
Yeah.
but surely.
I look at it like alignment.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what about for you?
I don't
Compliment
know.
that you liked.
I can't think. I'm sorry. I'm
Okay.
nervous.
No worries, no worries. In terms of pedicures, how often do you ladies get pedicures?
Like every 2 to 3 weeks, I think.
2 to 3 weeks.
Gel?
Gel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Girlfriend gets the same thing. Do you guys do like acrylics on your nails, like acrylic gel?
Sometimes
Yeah, not
right
right
now
now,
I don't
but-
have any.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my girlfriend does the same thing. Let me ask you this: in terms of pedicures, have you ever heard of a medical pedicure?
No.
I think so. Like
got-
podiatrist, is that what you
Yeah,
mean?
there
Yeah.
you go. Okay. So yeah, it's going to see a podiatrist, basically specialists of the foot. What they do is they look at your feet, they make sure your toenails grow correctly. They check your feet for like dead skin, fungus, make sure your toe alignment is not wrong. Basically, it's like the cleanest possible pedicure you can get. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes you hear stories about people going to nail
Salon.
shops and it's like, oh, I got infected, my toes are
Yeah.
infected, stuff like. You can't get that from a podiatrist. What are your thoughts on like if you had an opportunity to see somebody like that who could give you more like insight to your feet, tell you like more things that are going on? How would you guys feel about that?
I think I would be open to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I saw some. They had some Groupons that for to like go to a podiatrist and like get a checkup and all that stuff. And I think it was only like $70 for like two people, and then like for one it was like $40. So like it was definitely like some pretty good deals for that. Absolutely. How often do you ladies wear like open toe shoes, sandals, flip flops, things like that?
Every day.
Every day, to be honest.
Does it depend on the weather? Like if it's hotter?
No.
No.
We,
Oh,
even if it's
really?
cold,
We wear sandals.
sandals.
Yeah.
You would be surprised. Like so, usually when I go out do this, people are like, "Nah, when it's hotter, I'll do it. When it's cold, I don't mess around with that." So
No, when
No,
it's
we don't do
cold,
that.
we
It
always
doesn't
wear
matter to you.
sandals.
Okay.
We always get told. Well, I always get told like, "Aren't you cold?" With
Yeah.
the-
I think we're just used to it.
Yeah.
See, I feel like that because I wear shorts a lot. Like I like to wear shorts year round, but it's like it's almost like 70 degrees year round. So I'm not really too cold most of the time. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
always interesting. In terms of going barefoot, how often do you ladies do that?
Not really. Like on the floor.
On
like,
the floor, no, I don't like that. No.
Okay, so you kind of talked about grounding earlier. Have you ever heard of earthing?
Is
I
that
have.
where you like?
I think so.
I think I know what
Like
you're talking
touching
about.
grass.
Yeah, I've
So
heard of
grass,
that.
sand. You can even do it in dirt too. Like some
Yeah.
people do that. But basically, when you do that, you feel like energy. Like,
Yeah,
you get
I've
energy
heard of
back
that.
from the earth. It's basically something you can do. So let's say you had a long day at work. You come home, you're like, damn man, it's been really rough. Something you could do: go out to your front yard, backyard, stand there for like 10 to 15 minutes, and just focus on what you're feeling. Remember I was telling you about grounding earlier.
Yeah.
So what you start to do is you focus on, okay, what am I feeling in this moment? I feel the soft grass against my feet. I feel a cool breeze. Like, what do I hear? Oh, I hear birds chirping. Like, what do I see? Like, I see like, cars going by, whatever it is, and you start to focus more on that as opposed to like how your day was going. So it's almost like hitting a reset button for you. So like, my day was long, hit this reset button, and now I'm doing better.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about trying that a little bit more?
I think I've tried it before.
You tried it?
Yeah.
What was your feelings?
It felt very peaceful.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about for you? Have you
I would
tried
try it. I don't think
You've never
I
tried
have.
it
I don't
before?
think so. No, but I've heard of it.
Maybe that's something you guys can do
Yeah.
when you go home. Just, just came from the gym, you worked out a little bit, like go check it out, see how it feels.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, so now in this moment right now, could we see what you ladies' feet look like?
No.
My toes are done, but I don't know.
Okay. So what's your reason for no? And be honest.
I feel like it's for me it's kind of very personal because
No worries. I'm gonna challenge you right now, though.
to me how I see it is like looking at me naked.
I feel like if I had sandals,
Because it's just
yeah.
like me.
No, I feel you. But you do wear sandals and stuff like
I know,
that,
but
right?
I
like
feel like if I was wearing sandals,
Uh-huh.
yes.
I don't like my feet.
But like the fact that I have to take off my shoes
No
after
worries.
the
So,
gym is kind
I-
of like weird.
It's all good. I'm gonna challenge you though. I'm gonna challenge you. So we talked about exposure therapy earlier, right? About getting out of your comfort zone, right? So like you guys of course are saying that because like you feel more comfortable. Like if I can do my shoes on, I feel more comfortable, right? So let me tell you about why I started my channel. Why it's about like the topics that we talk about. So during quarantine I got like furloughed from my job. Like I lost my job. And so basically I was like looking for ways to like experience life to its fullest. So I came across exposure therapy, started talking to a therapist about that. And what she told me was a lot of times like I think about things and then I like think about the extremes. Oh, if I do this, this is gonna happen, right? And in reality, a lot of that stuff you're thinking about, it's not real, it's just your mind making stuff up, right? So when I started like thinking about it more like deeply, I was like, well let me start just making decisions just do things. Like, let's see what happens out of it. And I started feeling like I was getting more out of life. Like, I started, like, having better experiences in life, like, trying new things, right? Because think about it like this. Let's say your favorite food is cheeseburgers, right? All you did was eat cheeseburgers. And people came to you and offered you other food, and you're like, I'm never going to try that, right? What would happen to you, right? You would never know what other good foods are, right? Because you only have one experience for it. So, basically, I had the idea to start this YouTube channel because during quarantine, a lot of women were getting into, like, foot modeling, and that was a thing, right? So I was like, what would happen if I'm approaching women who I don't know. I ask you, like, we're talking about all these different things, you're comfortable, and we get to that part when I ask you that, do you continue to be comfortable or do you get to the point where you're like, I'm uncomfortable? Why is the uncomfortability there, right? And then can we get you out of that comfort zone? Because, of course, you're comfortable, like, staying like that, but can we have you test some of that out just to see how you feel in the moment? So a lot of times I get different reactions. There's some women, most women are like, cool, they don't like really think about it too much, they're just like cool, they just want to like see what's gonna happen. Some women start to overthink it, like talk about the pedicure, I don't have a pedicure, and I don't know this, and I don't know what's gonna happen. But like it's just about experiencing life to its fullest, seeing what you can get out of it. So basically the whole point of that is to like show the different reactions I get so that I can try to make the subject of feet, like the conversation people have around it, more comfortable. So it's not weird. So it's not something that you look at like if your friends came to you, hey, let's go ground, let's go earthing and grounding, or let's go do this, or if they complimented your feet, you wouldn't take it weird. You would just be like, oh, okay, cool, thank you, right?
Yeah.
So that's what my whole channel is like designed to do. So I do that through my interaction. So in this moment, can we get you guys to get out of that comfort zone? I know you came from the gym, I know all that stuff.
My toes are not done right now, and I don't like.
Nobody's here to judge you. It's just more, it's the exercise. We're trying to see, can you get out of the comfort zone?
No, I'm okay.
No.
I feel like if I had sandals, yes, but no. I think this is a gym thing. Like,
Yeah, my toes are not done.
Can we do this? Can we have you with socks? Can we try with socks only?
I think with
How about
socks, yeah.
My
socks?
shoes are busted.
Oh, nobody's judging you on
My
that.
feet.
Okay. So, okay, cool. And then, do you guys take both off? Like,
Oh. Sure.
And then, what size do you guys wear?
5.
Probably like a 5.
5? Okay, leave your feet out. Leave your feet out. We're going through a couple more things.
Definitely.
I'm going to give you some information about your feet. So, first of all, in terms of your toe alignment, do your toes go from big to small, or is your second toe longer? Or are your toes kind of the same
They're
size?
like in alignment.
Yeah.
They're in alignment, so they go big to small.
Yeah.
Okay, do you know what that's called? There's like different
There's
toe alignments.
different, yeah. I
You know
don't
what
know what
it's
it's called, but I've heard of it.
It's called an Egyptian toe alignment. So it means like there could be some like heritage or something that you might have from. I don't know if you guys have done like a 23andMe or anything like that, but sometimes you'll find that information out based on things. So if your second toe is bigger, it's actually called a Greek toe. It's a Greek toe.
Oh,
alignment.
me as fuck. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yours
yeah.
is bigger? My big toe is.
Mine goes
No,
straight,
that's
like,
Egyptian. That's Egyptian.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then if your toes are almost like the same size, it's called like a Roman. It's a Roman toe. And then there's an Oriental toe. There's all kinds of different toe alignments, all right? So if I can, let me just have you guys do this, like straight out. See,
My
oh,
fucking
both?
socks are probably dirty.
Not
Sorry.
nobody. We're not judging.
I
Like
don't-
the whole thing is
Oh,
just,
mine are
like,
not.
just going through. Can you put both up? Yeah, there you go.
Probably.
So let me ask you this. So at first you guys were like, nah, not willing to take my shoes off or nothing like that, but we got you just with your socks.
Uh-huh.
How were you feeling in the moment? Is there anything? Did the sky fall? Did you like lose all your money in your bank account or anything like that?
no, I feel like
No, I'm
it's
just kidding.
because of the socks, it's fine.
Yeah, the socks made it like not uncomfortable.
Made it
Yeah.
not uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Okay. So I do have a couple more exercises. Can you leave here? We're gonna go through like 2 more exercises. Okay. So let's talk about reflexology. So reflexology, I told you we're gonna talk about that. So it's about pressure points in your hands and in your feet. You heard of that before?
I think so, yeah.
Like sometimes you'll go to the mall, you'll see like the charts
little-
that they have with
yeah.
like all the spots. So basically like through like massage, through acupuncture, through acupressure, what you can do is like alleviate like stress and tension to various parts of your body. So let's say for example you're somebody who deals with migraines, right? A lot of people deal with migraines. There's actually a portion of your hands and feet you can massage that alleviates that tension that you feel in those moments. It's actually a piercing you can get in your ear does the exact same thing. What are your thoughts about what reflexology can do for you? Think it's a good thing, bad thing? How you feel about it?
I think good.
Good. Have you ever tried? Have you ever went and got one of those done, like a targeted like areas?
Like the pins on my back.
I
So you
never
got
got it done.
acupuncture done?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let me ask you this: what was your experience like? So you went in. I'm pretty sure you probably had some pain or something.
It was calming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely. So usually when we get to reflexology, we like to talk about sensitivity, like in terms of like when you go get pedicures and stuff. Are you usually ticklish? Do you like feel a lot of sensitivity from that?
Yeah, ticklish.
So I do have a trick to show you guys. Do you mind if we test it out? I'm not using my hands or anything. It's a tool I'm using. Is that okay? Just to show you what the trick is?
No.
No?
I'm
Okay, why are you
scared.
saying no?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't feel comfortable.
Is that a tool?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
What about for you? Can't try it out. Okay. Last time I'm gonna have you guys do just a couple exercises with your feet, just to see like if you guys have good flexibility, dexterity. Okay. Can you guys put your feet out straight again like this? So what I want you to do first is just bend your toes, make a fist. Tell me if you feel pain, discomfort when you're doing that.
No.
Is that
No.
easy? Is that hard?
It's
It's
easy.
easy.
Okay, relax. Let me get you next to like spread your toes. Is that easy to do?
Yeah.
Okay, relax. And then lastly, let me just have you guys wiggle your toes for about 10 seconds. You tell me if you feel pain, discomfort, cramping. Okay. So in terms of that, like when we go through that, so sensitivity is like something that like a lot of people feel, right? So reflexology is all about those like responses that you have. Something easy that you can do when you go get pedicures, wiggle your toes. Like what happens is that so for one, your mind is sending a signal to do something, right? And then two, like by you wiggling your toes, the energy that you feel from like the pumice stone thing that they do,
Oh, yeah.
it gets sent to different areas. So that's
Oh,
basically what I was
God.
going to show you guys. But it's all good. So anyway, let's wrap up the interview. In terms of my approach when I came up to you and I asked you to do the interview, did you feel my approach was good? Was it bad? How'd you feel about my approach?
Oh, it was actually like good. I was
Yeah.
just nervous.
I think it was
get
more of us.
I think you guys were mostly nervous throughout the whole interview.
Yeah.
I think it's because like you don't know me, like you're like
Yeah.
you barely got an introduction to my YouTube channel, so you're like,
Yeah.
why am I being asked all these questions and stuff? It's all good. I get that all the time. Let me ask you this: like in terms of the interview from start to finish, did you see how everything was going along in the line? Did it make sense? Did you learn anything new?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Becoming comfortable.
Yeah. I
It's-
agree with that.
Yeah.
And so this is the reason why, right? A lot of women struggle with being comfortable with themselves, their bodies, like just being comfortable and not being judged by other people because you guys deal with that more than anybody else,
Yeah.
right? From a young age, like you guys are like showed like images of like this is what good looks like and stuff like
Yeah.
that, right? So the whole point of my channel is to try to see who are the people I can get to get out of that comfort zone. Like, of course, you feel comfortable, whatever, like being in that comfort zone, but can you get out of that and just experience something
Yeah.
new for the first time? Last thing I always ask, something you guys can say to my channel that could be helpful from a mental health standpoint. Maybe it's a life lesson you learned, some wise words somebody shared with you. Anything you guys can say to my channel that could be helpful. You don't have to overthink it either. Just
Honestly,
whatever
I
comes
can't. I can't think. I feel like I said what I needed
Yeah,
to.
pretty much.
Okay.
I feel like, yeah, make time for yourself.
Make time
Like,
for
yourself.
mental health, make time for
I
yourself. Always
think-
prioritize your happiness.
I like that.
If it's not making you happy,
Leave.
leave.
That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
making time for yourself. Don't give all your time. Basically, sometimes it's okay to be selfish.
Yeah.
Like, don't give your all to everybody and not no time for yourself.
Yeah.
Because then you'll lose yourself.
That's
in
a
the
really
t-
good
in the
one.
process.
It's a really good one. Well, thank you, ladies, so much. Definitely appreciate you stopping to do this interview with us. All right, and we hope you ladies have a great one. Okay?
Thank you.
too.
Time.
All right. So, hi. How are you doing today?
Good, how are
I'm
you?
doing great. I'm doing great. How did you and I meet today?
Well, you just came up to me while I was on my table,
Yeah.
just so normal.
Chilling, you just like watching the YouTube, I guess, or
Yeah,
something?
Jersey Shore.
Oh, there you go. There you
Yeah.
go. Eating your oranges. And
Yeah.
stuff. Cool. Do you remember what I approached you about? We're gonna talk about 3 things today. I gave you 3 topics.
Feet, mental health, and reflexology.
Boom.
Mm-hmm.
And you're one of the few people who got them all. Let me ask you this: when you hear the word feet, what do you think about first? What goes to your
Just
mind?
my feet, regular feet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool, cool. I asked you a few questions about that today. I just want you to feel free to answer however you like in the moment, okay?
Okay.
What about mental health? You hear that? What do you think about?
Just how you go about your day-to-day life, like your feelings and all that stuff.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. All right, cool. We're going to ask you some questions about dealing with like stress, anxiety, some things that maybe you've learned. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some things I've learned since I started my channel, okay?
Okay.
And then lastly, reflexology, you said.
I've never heard of that, yeah. Or I probably have, but I don't remember.
You don't recognize the term.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you some information that I just want you to tell me you think that the information is good, is it bad, how you feel about it, okay? Cool? Ready? All right, let's start with the first question. In terms of the world, what is something you think we could do right now to improve mental health awareness throughout the world?
Definitely more education about it, just because I feel like the lack of education will lead to less resources and stuff like that. So I think education is a good starting point. Yeah.
Okay, cool. In terms of fill in the blank on this next question,
Okay.
the world would be better if
There would be more open-mindedness.
open-minded.
Yes.
So that's a big one.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, I mentioned I talked to like 3 ladies a couple weeks ago, and they were talking about the fact that sometimes they can be judgmental on what other people do, and they don't even realize it. And so then they catch
Yeah.
themselves like. It's like, oh, this person is doing that. Oh, they're so like this, and then they're like, ah, damn, like I'm not supposed to be doing that.
Yeah.
So it's like, I've always thought that if a person likes something or they want to do something, as long as it's not hurting other people, you're not harming anybody, be my guest, do your thing.
Definitely,
Absolutely. In terms of if a friend or a loved one was like dealing with like stress, anxiety, something like that, is there anything you would say or do with them to like help them get through that time?
I would just kind of be there for them, offer my support the way they would want me to offer my support. And obviously, if that means more distance between us, or if it means me being there for them, talking to them every day, it's just kind of what they feel is best for them. So I think, yeah, offering my support the way they feel like is best.
I think you said some really great things there
Yeah.
because I think sometimes we think that what helps us helps everybody else, right?
yeah.
It's like you can give advice. And
Yeah.
tell somebody like, hey, this is what I think. But in
Yeah.
terms of like the thing that helps you out, helping somebody else out, it may not do anything for them at all. So that was really good that you said that. This next question you don't have to go too in depth on. You can give a surface level answer if you want. Okay.
Okay.
Is there anything that brings you anxiety? And if so, when you feel like you're having like an anxious moment or you're feeling anxious, do you do anything to counteract or like cope with your emotions in that moment?
Okay, definitely I feel like when I overthink things too much, like I think of like the worst case scenario, that definitely brings me anxiety. So I think it's just kind of reminding myself that that's not going to always be the case, kind of soothes. I don't think that I do anything in particular that like really helps it. I feel like I just do my best and deal with it the way I can, but definitely thinking of the worst case scenario and trying to remind myself that it's not always going to be the worst case.
So I have something for you because I'm an overthinker.
Yeah.
This is why I kind of like started my
Yeah.
channel this way. So what a therapist talked to me about was like a 5 year rule. So what you do is you think about the thing that you're trying to do or that you're being presented with a problem with, and you ask yourself,
if in 5 years
gonna,
is it going to affect you? Yeah, I've heard of that.
by you doing that, you basically like take the doubt and all that stuff out of it, because you're like, well, damn, if it's just something as simple as doing this, it's not going to have any impact down the road. Like, why am I like really thinking
stressing
about it so
out?
deeply?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into these questions now. Well, first, before we get there, in terms of, let's say somebody came to you and they gave you the power to change something about yourself. Is there anything you would change? And it doesn't have to be something physical. It could be a behavior you have. Is there anything you would change?
Like, what would I change, or if I would change it?
Yeah. Would you change anything, or would there be something you would change? Like, is there something that you would be like, yeah, absolutely, I'm gonna change that?
I don't know. I think it's just, yeah, I guess I would say like, I don't know, honestly. I have to really think about that one.
Sorry, that's one I'm gonna have to think about a little
There are
bit.
probably things I would change, but anything that comes to mind, like off the top of my head, I feel like I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Maybe
would have
that's
to.
one of those ones that you take home and you.
Yeah, I need to reflect on that. Yeah.
Okay, let's get into these questions now. Fill in the blank on this question. When I think about my feet,
I feel like there could be some things that I could do to take care of them. In fact, like, cause I'm like very into like fitness somewhat.
Okay.
So
you work out a lot.
yeah,
and stuff like that.
I definitely think about the type of shoes I wear and how it affects the rest of my body more physically. So
Yep.
I think that's one of the biggest things, cause that's something I think about a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you do any like stretches or anything to help your feet out?
Not my feet, but which is something I should do because
You should do.
Yeah.
And here's why. All right.
Yeah.
So this is what a lot of people don't think about. Right. What holds you up?
My feet. Yeah.
So like if something happens there, like right, it has an impact on the rest of your body. So sometimes people can have like something wrong with their foot and they don't realize like it's like, oh, my hip, like my hip is hurting, right? But it's maybe something in your foot that's like off.
Yeah.
Because, like, so stretching those muscles out and stuff is just as important as other muscles. in
Yeah,
your body.
definitely.
Absolutely. In terms of your feet, have you ever received compliments from anybody? Anybody ever said to you, "Hey, I think you have nice feet"?
Oh no. Well, it's because I'm a dancer and our feet have to be nice. So in terms of like, oh, you have a nice point or like whatever, then yeah, but not like in a normal basis
So
type
nobody's
thing.
ever given you that compliment.
No.
Let's say somebody did give you that compliment. Somebody came to you and said, "Hey, I think you have nice feet." How would that make you feel in the moment?
I wouldn't know how to feel about it just because I'd be kind of confused on like what makes my feet nice. So I think it would just be more confusion than anything.
But beauty's in the eye of the beholder, right?
Yeah.
So like, it doesn't necessarily have to be something that you think. Like I think that's that overthinking again, though, right?
Yeah.
Because like it could just be somebody's just telling you that they think that this is nice, right?
Yeah.
I think that we all have things that we like, and if somebody said that, like maybe just embracing it and just being
Yeah.
like, okay, cool, thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah.
In terms of compliments you receive from men and women, is there a certain group you prefer compliments more from?
I think it depends just because, usually with like if you're closed-minded and you think, okay, if I'm a woman and I receive something from a man, then
Yeah.
it's more like, okay, they're trying to like get at me or something.
Yep.
So I think it's just kind of, you already have this stigma in your mind of why they're complimenting you, and I think that just kind of affects how you feel about that. But it's like more about that open-mindedness, like trying not to have that stigma and like just accepting a compliment.
Just being open to it. So
Yeah.
life is about experiences, man. I tell people this all the time. People, a lot of times, like I'm like, if you liked a certain type of food, right? Let's say you like pizza.
Yeah.
All you ate was pizza, and somebody was like, "Hey, I want to like offer you this. I want you to try this, whatever." And you're like, "Nah, man, I'm good with pizza. I'm never eating at the nose."
Yeah.
How would you know what types of food are good?
Yeah. Yeah.
You have no idea, right?
Yeah. That too.
So that's something that I always try to tell people, like, try it out, see what happens. You never know. In terms of compliments you receive, if you can think back on some of the compliments, is there a certain compliment that when you got it from somebody, you're like, man, that made my day, it made me feel good?
Yeah, I think more genuine compliments, like something about my personality, or like, oh, I think you made me laugh today, or something like that. Like, it's like, okay, thank you, like I'm doing something right, So I think more genuine, like I made another person feel good, or something made their day better somehow. I think those are the type of compliments that.
It's energy for me.
Yeah.
Somebody tells me about my energy. I'm like,
Yeah.
What do you think in terms of when guys get compliments? What's something that they could do better? Like, so guy gives you a compliment. Sometimes you said it doesn't sometimes come across right.
Uh-huh.
What could they do better to improve the way they give a compliment to a
I
woman?
think, yeah, just their energy or
Okay.
their what their purpose is behind it. If it's, I feel like it's more genuine and they're just saying it to be nice, then
Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like I get a better vibe from it and I feel better about it. Whereas I feel like if they get like, if they're doing it in a weird way, then I'm like, oh, I don't know if I like that compliment, you know?
So is it like context that you're talking about?
Yeah, I guess context and
Okay.
more of the way you go about saying it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. How often do you get pedicures?
Pedicures?
Yeah.
Not often. I don't think I do.
Oh, well, because you said you're a dancer too.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Keeping your calluses and stuff is like. So do you do your own self care?
Yeah, I try to do everything myself. I
Okay.
think. Yeah.
Have you ever heard of a medical pedicure before? Is that familiar?
No.
So that's going to see a podiatrist, specialist of the
Yeah,
foot.
yeah, I know podiatrists.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what they do is they take a look at your feet to make sure your toenails are growing correctly. They check your toe alignment to make sure your toe alignment's right. They check your feet for like dead skin, fungus, do all the work with like medical grade equipment. It's actually
yeah.
like the cleanest possible. When you
Okay,
do it.
yeah.
They don't do colors.
Yeah.
do clear coats.
So it's not like nail polish, more like
yeah.
a little foot checkup.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So they give you more
Yeah.
information about your feet. What would
Okay.
your thoughts be on seeing somebody like that who could give you more information about what your feet, what's happening there?
I would be open-minded about it. I would be open to trying it. Maybe not as often,
Yeah.
even though it probably is important, but
Yeah.
just because it's not something I think about a lot, I would try it, and then if I like it, I would keep doing it.
Absolutely. And so one of the things that they talk about a lot, so like you mentioned earlier, your shoes, making sure your shoes are right? They make specialized orthotics
Oh, yeah.
that fit your
Yeah,
foot.
yeah, yeah.
That like, so like it's only gonna fit to your foot, like
Yeah.
nobody else's. So like when you wear that shoe, you're gonna feel comfortable in it. Absolutely.
Definitely.
How often you wear open toe shoes, sandals, flip flops?
Not that often, but on the occasion, special occasions, you know, stuff
Okay,
like
so
that.
like if you're going to like a party or something.
Yeah, open toe shoes, yeah.
Absolutely. If you could only pick one brand of shoe or one style of shoe to wear for the rest of your life, what would it be?
I don't know. I think,
That's a tough one.
yeah, probably like Nike.
I get a lot of
Because,
Nikes.
yeah.
Like a lot of people say either that or Vans. That's what I get a
Yeah,
lot of.
because I feel like Nike, it's athletics, but you can also get style.
Yeah, it's
so I feel
variety.
like I would have a good amount of, variety with that one. So yeah,
Absolutely.
I think Nike.
Cool.
Yeah.
How can you go barefoot without shoes?
I guess just for dance and
Okay.
for the beach and stuff like that. Places that like kind of warrant it, you know?
Got it. Have you ever heard of earthing and grounding before?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like going barefoot in grass.
Yeah,
dirt,
yeah, yeah.
sand. What you do in that moment, you're supposed to focus on like what you're feeling in the moment.
Yeah.
Being mindful about like what you're actually feeling, as opposed to just like I'm just standing here in grass. Like,
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
Focus on. Okay, cool. I feel a cool breeze. I feel a soft grass.
Yeah, I
I'm
feel
hearing
that,
birds
yeah.
chirping and things like that. What
Yeah.
it does is it's supposed to be like a reset for you. So like you had a long day at work, school. You can do that, and it like resets your mind into something else.
Okay.
What would your thoughts be on trying that more?
I mean, like, yeah, it would be a good meditation tool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It definitely needs a lot of patience, I feel like.
Yep.
So I think that if I work up to it, maybe it would be good for me. Yeah.
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 I think it's something that we all don't think about enough.
Yeah.
Like, it's something that like you hear about it, but it's like, do you actually like put forth the effort to like actually do something like that, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, so now in this moment right now, could we see what your feet look like?
Like, take off my shoes? No, I don't know. I don't know if I'm comfortable with that.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah,
So
okay.
here's what I want to do. So I'm going to tell you
Okay.
about the mental health of what started me my channel. I'm going to swing back around because exposure therapy. You ever heard of that before?
Kind of, yeah.
So it's like if you have like a certain like fear or phobia or something, right?
You would get
can-
exposed to it more.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So you
okay.
can even feel comfortable about it, right? So it's like, oh, I'm presented with this situation, I'm uncomfortable, right? It's like if you want to get out of your comfort zone to experience life to its fullest, you try more things. You try, okay, cool, I feel uncomfortable, but the worst that's gonna happen, right? Think about worst case scenario. Worst thing is gonna happen. I'm gonna feel uncomfortable at first, but eventually I'm gonna be okay, right?
Yeah.
So when I heard about that, like I'm a chronic overthinker.
Yeah.
I overthink everything. Like, it's like, dude, I get presented with something, and I'm like, damn, do I do this or do I not? Do
Yeah.
this? And so it's like not everything requires you to think so deeply. Sometimes it's just make the decision, move on with it, right? And so I started doing that more, just like, hey, I want to go to the movies, I'm going to the movies.
Yeah.
Right? I started feeling like more fulfilled with life, like I'm doing more things and I'm trying more things, and so it started to like open up like my world.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So basically, like I had the idea during quarantine. I got furloughed from my job, and like I was sitting at home and I was just nothing to do. So I'm like literally sitting back and I'm watching YouTube and different things. So I had the idea like, why don't I start a YouTube channel about going out in public, interview women, see what their thoughts are about these subjects.
Okay.
And we get to that portion where I try to see, can you practice some of that exposure therapy about getting out of your comfort zone? Even though you may feel uncomfortable, can you try to get out of that? feel a little bit comfortable because the interview is going good. Can you continue to keep that same energy going?
Yeah.
Or do you get to the point where you're like, damn, I don't know, man. Like,
Yeah.
you start to think self-consciously and things like that. It's like, can you just be comfortable and just go through it? So that's kind of what my interview is about. And the reason why I do that is to like show different reactions I get. Because what I'm trying to do is improve the conversation around feet. So like make it more of a positive thing. So if you notice that what we're talking about, we're talking about like grounding, earthing, medical pedicures. I'm gonna tell you about reflexology in a bit. But like it's more centered around that. So like this is just a portion just to see can you continue to be comfortable in the interview. Is that something you could do today? Can we get you out of your comfort zone?
Maybe, I don't know.
What about 1 foot?
1 foot?
Not both. How about that?
I don't know. Because I also have a class in like 2 minutes right now, so I think it's,
Would it be easier just socks? Could you do it just
Okay,
socks?
socks.
Cool. All right, cool. If I can, let me have you take your feet up.
Okay.
And just put them right there.
Right there, both of them?
Oh, put them right here.
Okay.
Sit up here. So,
Let me fix my
first of all,
sock.
can you do both?
Okay.
Cool. First of all, what size shoe do you wear?
Size 5.5, 6, depending on the.
5.5, 6.
Yes.
Does it vary depending on the type of shoe you wear?
Yes.
Okay. So like sometimes if it's like a heel or if you're wearing boots or something
Yeah.
like that, it might be a little bit bigger just for room and stuff like that. All right, cool. And it looks like if I can see correctly, is your bigger toe bigger than all? Like, is it longer
Yeah,
than
it's
all the
like
rest?
a nice little.
Staircase? You know what that's called? 'Cause there's
No.
different toe alignments.
No, I don't know what that's called.
That's called an Egyptian toe alignment.
Egyptian toe line.
So
Okay.
if your second toe is longer, it's called an Grecian toe. It's a Greek toe. And then they have what's called like a Roman, where like all the toes are like almost the same size. And then there's one that's called the Oriental, where it's just like a straight line right across. So that's what you have. So like,
Okay,
if you ever
Egyptian,
see your friends or anything like that, you can check their feet out and be like, oh, you have the Grecian toe,
Yeah.
or whatever like that. Cool. Let me have you go out straight like this.
Like this?
You can? Yeah. Cool. All right, so let me ask you this. At first, you're like, nah,
Yeah.
I'm good. How did you feel though in the moment? Like, you went through it. How did you feel?
Definitely more comfortable with my socks on, I think. But I was just like,
uncomfortability with, because you did it with your socks on. What was the uncomfortability without your socks?
I don't know, just like my feet, like how they're presented. I'm like, well, they're not very nice right now. My pedicure's not done, all that stuff. So I think it's just
So are you worried about people like making fun of you on YouTube?
somewhat,
or
not
something
like,
that?
more negative feelings about it. Mostly myself.
So let me ask you this, like, cause like I sometimes get that, right? How do you get over that when you feel like that's happening? Like when somebody gives you a negative comment about something that may have something to do with your appearance or something.
I don't know. I think just kind of like thinking, okay, well, can they do better? Like, I don't know.
Or this too, but this is what I always tell people.
Yeah.
Is it something that you can fix?
Somewhat, yeah.
So like if I know like I don't have a good pedicure or whatever right now, can I go out and get a pedicure? And
Yeah,
my feet look
yeah,
better?
yeah.
So then why am I worried about it?
Yeah. True, very
Exactly.
true.
Let's run through reflex. I know you got to get going. Reflexology real quick. So reflexology is all about those different pressure points you have in your hands and your feet. So they're like pressure points that connect to like different parts of your body. So let's say for example, like if you go get a massage, if you do acupuncture, if you do acupressure, you can like alleviate stress and tension.
Yeah,
various
I've
areas
heard
your
of
body.
that. Okay,
Absolutely. So let's say if you're somebody who deals with migraines, there's actually a portion of your hands and your feet you can massage that alleviates the tension you feel in those moments. There's also a piercing you can get in your ear that does the exact same thing. What are your thoughts about that? You think it's a positive thing?
I think it definitely could help. I haven't tried it before, but I have heard it.
Yeah.
I feel like there are different things for that, and I feel like I would be open to trying it because
especially being a dancer, because
Yeah.
you're like on your feet a lot.
Yeah.
So like, I think that's something definitely you might want to get in there.
yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. All right, so let's wrap up the interview. In terms of my approach, when I came up to you and I asked you to do this interview, did you feel my approach was good? Was it bad? How did you feel about my approach?
It was good. I felt like you weren't very. You didn't come off too strong to the point where I felt uncomfortable. So I think it was definitely a good way to approach me, and I didn't feel uncomfortable with the questions. So
Okay.
I think it was a good interview all around.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
In terms of the interview from start to finish, could you see how everything was going along in a line? Did it make
Yeah.
sense? Did you learn anything new from the information I provided?
I did make sense, like how you went from mental health and how you feel about like the feet and acupuncture and all that stuff, and how the health all along it made sense. It just made sense, and I did learn a lot new about like the reflexology and all that stuff. So
Hopefully that's helpful.
yeah, I think so.
The last thing I want you to do, and it could be quick words, because I know you gotta get up out of here. Something that you can say to my channel that could be helpful. Maybe it's something that somebody said to you before that was helpful. Anything you can say to us.
Definitely just about what we talked about, the open-mindedness. I feel like the world could be a better place if everybody just kind of kept their mind open to things that will not hurt other people, like you said, as long as people are practicing their own thing and as long as it doesn't affect you or hurt anybody else, then definitely just be open-minded to it. Yeah.
Love
That's
that.
it.
Love that. Thank you so much. Definitely appreciate you
Thank
stopping
you.
in and sharing with us. All right. We hope you have a great one.
Thank you.
All right.